Hello everybody, welcome to the show. Today, you guys are in luck. We are doing something we've never done here at Bass and Bonsai. You don't know what I'm talking about? Well, watch this. This is going to blow your mind like it did me. I've never just came out here and fished or put a video together using worms only. I just never have done it. I've always used those as like a backup bait, and you may see a video where that's pretty much all I'm using, but it's not because that's what I set out to do. That's just because that's the only thing that was biting that day, and it's happened a couple times. But today we're coming out here. See the wind's kind of hitting this bank. I just wrapped up two different videos. Go check them out. One was comparing the little micro to the half-ounce chatterbaits, the little Dr. Frankenstein to the the Digit, and the other small square bills. Kind of, small versus large, BFS versus regular gear. So check out those videos. The bite was tough though. I caught some fish and we kind of came to a conclusion that one bait seemed to be working better than all the others for today. But the whole time I'm making both those videos, I'm thinking, you know what? I should probably be throwing a worm. So I set out to, let's just throw every worm I own. Not that I own, but every style, I guess, basically. Worm that the Z-Man worms. I know there's tons of worms on them. Worm's probably the most made bass bait there is, and it for a good reason. It catches a lot of fish. Even the little TRD could be considered a short worm, so that's why we're going to use it. You can actually use the Zinkerz to use them like that, so that's what we're doing today. So anyway, buckle up and hang on. Let's go worm fishing for bass. All right, I don't even know how I want to start out. I guess I'll just start with the smallest or lightest bait. The TRD is probably the smallest, but this is that little bitty. That bait, there we go, that's straight. It's kind of hard to put on. But that's that little 4-inch finesse worms, and I've got it on the smallest, I believe that's the smallest Ned head you can get. So I just wanted to try that along with the TRD. It's kind of longer than the TRD, but skinnier. And I've got a bright one on. I do have more natural colors. But we'll give it a shot first. There should be either bluegill or little bass up against this the windy side here. I do have new clickers on all these different reels that I made. I guess I'll just go to the next one, which is the TRD, and I'll try it first, just swimming it back slow. Which, I don't know, if you ever watch a kid fish with a TRD and be amazed at how much they can just throw it out in the middle of nowhere, up along the bank, start reeling, and just catch fish, and you're like, what in the world? Pink TRD, white TRD, that a lot of times colors don't even matter. But generally, if you throw that TRD up there and then just bounce, you feel it ticking on grass, pop it off there, bounce it on cross bottom on rock. This bite's tough, I'm telling you. The bite today is tough. That's why I figured I'd make a worm video. See if we can find anything that they'll hit on. Right by that stump. Oh, that was perfect. Get out of there, right by there. This is a perfect spot. That should be a fish. Oh my God. I might try different colors too, but these colors I have on should work. But if, oh, there's a hit. Oh, I got him. Got a fish. TRD strikes again, strikes first, strikes gold. Hear that clicker when I reel anyway. That's a good chunk. Nice little chunk. Whoa! Trying to outrun the boat. Oh, we should be able to boat flip this dude. There we go. We're on the board with one of the most probably nowadays well known. Also, there a year ago, 2 years ago, nobody knew what a Ned rig TRD was. Now I think everybody and their brother knows, but for good reason. It just flat out works. Awesome fish. What do you guys think? He's a jumper. This is also the combo that I recommend from AliExpress. PW 100 Cayenne Teton 632 UL 6'3", ultralight, Okay, not a bad bass on a tough day. TRD, which we all knew. Everybody in the world kind of knows now that TRDs are the real deal. And I don't care what anybody says. There may be a couple, you know, color styles here and there somebody else makes, but the best TRD, or sorry, the best Ned rig heads and bait still to me on the market are the Z-Man stuff. Now I'll use the TRDs on a shaky head, which I believe I like the VMCs, and I'll do that to just totally be weak. Ah, there was a bump. I had a bump. Sorry. But probably my favorite, and definitely what got me into BFS and favorite worm style to do is right here. I've changed heads over the years, but I've always used that Z-Man Wormz. It's their finesse worm. They don't call it a shaky head worm. They have like a floating worm and a finesse Wormz in 7-inch, and those baits is probably still my favorite way, even over the TRD, just to get hit, because I feel I get bigger fish with the shaky head style with that exact Z-Man bait. I'll probably catch more. You probably go out on tougher bite with the Ned, but if things get tough, I can usually always get some fish this way. Or, and as I'll show you, you'll see a little later, take this same jig, shaky head, instead of using what traditionally people use, shaky head worms, use an actual Cinco style or stick bait style, which are the Zinkerz and Z-Man, and that it also is kind of deadly. And sometimes it pays. Don't just hit the same, you know, change the angle. You know, even if you've worked past the spot, you know, work your trolling motor, get turned, make yourself a cast, back up, and kind of let the wind blow that bait down along the bank too. Especially, you know, right there. Perfect. Oh, he spit it back out. Perfect example. Came through there with a bunch of baits, didn't even have a hit, and then threw back the opposite way. I don't know why I didn't get that hook set. That's the 661 Cayenne Teton, and usually it's pretty good. I probably need to be throwing this on the light, the ultra, or the Conqueror. The 6.5 Conqueror does seem to be better for the 16th ounce and shaky head, 8th ounce shaky head jigs, and just that size of the hook, the micro chatterbaits. The 661 is more for like treble baits, cranks, and stuff like that. It'll work for this, but as you saw, especially when you're switching rods around, I need to yank as hard as I can, where I don't really have to have a hard hook set on the little stouter rod. I'm about ready to give up on you and switch to something else. I'm gonna switch to something else. Give you one more shot over here. Throw it in tight. There we go. I yanked as hard as I could. That fish better not come off. Drag will touch loose. Let that drag go. That's a nice little chunk. Right through the mouth. I yanked. I was like, you're getting on. And see the difference in the hook sets? If you look back on that video, I yanked. Had him no problem. So, are there better rods? Probably for that big a hook. Maybe, but that 66102 would get the job done. You just got to know what you're doing. When you feel that hit, set the hook. No problem. We should try another bait. But I just love these shaky. You know, once I realize that the chatterbait and something else ain't going, that's when I can sit down. Once I get my mind set on throwing this is an awesome way to fish, and you can catch a lot, and then all of a sudden when you least expect it, you know, you're just like, there's all these little quarter pounders with cheese, bam, all of a sudden you're at Burger King, you're not at McDonald's anymore, you're catching Whoppers, like a Whopper's on there. That's how good it is. Yeah. As good as it is, sometimes there's better. Let's go to this one. Sometimes you can take that exact kind of concept, except you change it to this thing, and I kind of adapted this I started out throwing the Zinkerz on a shaky head, then I went with the straight hook, and then I realized it wasn't sinking right, and then I added that little split shot. So you could basically do the same thing with the Cinco. Take just a hook, 3 or 4 out depending on which length Cinco you have, and it'll just kind of flutter like a Wacky rigged, yet you're weedless. You can throw it in, let it sink into grass and throw it around cover. Not like that's one thing I don't like about a Wacky rig. It never failed when I first started using them. I'd like to throw them in and around either super close to the bank and grass or trees and stuff, that where I always got hung up. It seems like it's just a nightmare. And they do work, and they still work that way. I could still do it that way, but for me, I think this way I can throw it out, let it sink down. It's kind of doing its little wacky thing in the spot where I think it works, but then I can also just set and wiggle it and pull it along the bottom. And instead of being that fluffy, wacky thing, it's more like a traditional, worm. You can also do this. You could do this exact same thing. I guess I'll say it real quick. Where you would be fishing on topwater bite, and say the topwater bite's just not quite there, and you think they'll still hit close. Fish just like this without a split shot, and just throw it up on the bank. That thing will almost float. It takes a pretty big hook to make a Zinkerz sink, or sink fast. So it'll just pull it past that cover, and it'll set and just set there. And that's a good way to fish kind of topwater. And you can use the Z-Man fluke style looking things, kind of like that too, with just a bare hook, and kind of get a topwater bite going like that if the topwater bite's tough. But today, nothing's really hit topwater. I tried briefly, and chatterbait, and nothing really, when the cranks, when I'm throwing them and letting them set before I reel them, nothing was hitting. Like, there's no kind of topwater. I don't even hear or see stuff hitting top. Occasionally out in the middle I did, but nothing along the bank. So it tells me that bite, which this is probably not going to be as effective as what I'm getting ready to use. Okay, now we're going to what I talked about before, except I did upscale. I went to a bigger worm and a bigger weight. So I have an 1/8 ounce with the Zinkerz on it, VMC. That is the Rugby finesse. It's almost a football shaped head. I think it's just called Rugby finesse jig from VMC, 1/8 ounce. I got a Zinkerz on there. It's sprayed grass, I think, the color. So it should get down, be a little bit bigger profile. Come out here in this little deeper water, and hopefully we can get something going with this. And then I got one other one before we abandon ship or go back to the TRD or the regular shaky. Maybe a little deeper water. Start shallow and then come out a little deeper. It's going to get to the bottom quicker. The only downside to this, if you have a lot of nasty cover and grass where it just the weight gets bogged down too much, but if it doesn't get bogged down, it's probably the way to fish and cover more water than with a normal, or 1/16 ounce shaky head. And you can throw the regular worm on this 1/8 ounce, or if you get out into nasty or deeper water, you could throw on, even go bigger, which we're kind of getting ready to do in a little bit here. But then these shaky heads, you can also fish them kind of quick. If you feel them getting bogged down too much, even a 1/16 ounce, just don't stop them. Throw them out and just start wiggling and jiggling. And don't ever really stop and shake them like you would, a normal shaky head. And that's what I find is probably the way I spend most of my time fishing, because I definitely want grass. I want to cast them up, start working them, and usually if you're in too much grass, you'll feel it popping off stuff. And if you can't work it like that, it keeps getting caught up, then you want to just go lighter and lighter until you can. If you don't feel it popping off nothing, then you want to slow down until maybe there's no grass in that little spot, you're in a bare spot, and then you let it actually shake it like you normally would. The shaky hot now. This afternoon, 12:13. Could that be the witching time? Let's switch from this. This hasn't done anything yet. Now I want to try this guy. This is our biffle broken-headed thing, a little heavier than that 1/8 ounce. Got little rattles on it. That's our Goby Bryant. Now I just want to try this color. in this style. I don't know. I want to throw it over a tree, bounce it off, scratch up my line so a big one will break it, all that kind of stuff. But I don't know. And still caught a fish. Oh my God. I don't know that I've ever thrown this. I've thrown the combination, no. I've thrown the stuff, yes. So it works. Man, they're monsters too. But I had never thrown until that cast, which was horrible, like I mentioned in other times. When I make a horrible cast, it always has good results. I've kind of rigged this up, and you've seen me done this, but I don't think I've ever had these rattles rigged up with just a Zinkerz, is what I was trying to get at. And I think that was the first cast, and let's try this other bait. That's what setting there does, you know, when you first throw it and what spot you look, you know, you're like, oh, that spot should be good. Let it just sink if it's a jig or worm, and then just let it kind of set. And then when you first pick it up, be ready, because if something watched it go down, they may just be down there hovering over. You've seen fish like at pet stores and stuff, and they don't know what they want to do with it. But then when you pick it up, like that, I told you guys. Oh, that is a bigger bass. Just like that. They decide, I want that. Look at this guy. Here's a drag clicker. That is our original one that came on the BFS XG. This 802C. Very nice chunk. Look at that dude. And I told you there's more in there. That's an 1/8 ounce. Worms is definitely were the way to go all day today, probably. And I made 2 videos with chatterbaits and crankbaits. Yay me. Not a monster. All right, guys, any questions? If you guys are following so far, the 1/8 ounce Zinkerz is winning. Uh-oh. Oh, yes. Woo! Biggest bass of the day is also the biggest jumper. You go, boy. All right, right back here is where we were. Now, I should probably just throw this again. It's not the middle of the dam, but it's not far from it. And there's just grass. It just has a perfect little setup. It's all mainly underwater, so you can't make it out, but and the wind's blowing. All right, I kind of need to get over this way where I can throw into it. Would probably help. Let's get over there and do that. While I'm going, just in case, you really do never know where there's a big bass. You never know for sure. A lot of guys will tell you they do, but I mean, I'm just telling you. From as shallow as that big bass can set, almost with its fin sticking out, to, oh, got another one. Kind of trolling, which is legal over here. We may be onto something, boys and girls, this color and this size. Oh, you decide to fight now. Whoa, get back out there. Look at him fight. Oh boy. And he gave up. That double dip. You double dip them, they kind of just quit acting a fool anyway. There we go. Oh, this is a jumper for sure. I'm going to stay backing off this dam because I think we might have some fish loaded up here. That was my problem today. They're everywhere else except where I was fishing. Let's see if this guy jumps. Come on. Oh boy. Oh yeah. That was a little dud. Did you guys see that little dud? Man, we're on fire with worms today. I got my cowboy boots on and shorts. Oh yeah, there ain't no stopping me now. There ain't no stopping me now. Shut it, Susan and Karen. I'm on a roll. Look out. Ooh, doggies, looky what you pop. Looky what you pop. Nice largemouth bass on worms. You go around here all day bug baiting around, chatter whatevering, chatter baiting buzz. All it took. Oh, look at that. Bounce it off that stick. I guarantee you that's going to be a bass. All it took was to slow down, start throwing that Zinkerz worm. Oh, I missed one. Pulled it right out of its mouth, I think. This drag is tight. Trust me, I got the drag tight. So when you hear it go zoom, that means it's actually a sign that I definitely, you know, I got all the force that I wanted to have in there on the thing. A lot of people tell you, no, you don't want your drag to slip on a hook set. Well, who's to say that your line won't break then? You know, no matter what line you have, if say you're hooking to, you know, 10 pounders going this way, you're yanking this way, you got 15-pound line, no drag, you're probably going to snap the line or your rod. So I've kind of gone through and talked about how I like to set my drag. Now, if anything, I am a touch on the light side. I changed things up a bit. I came back to this corner and switched it up, and this bait is still working. So I think this is our winner for today anyway. We have the 1/8 ounce. Look at that. That is the, I want to say Mike Iaconelli's got his name on that one too, but the VMC Finesse Rugby 1/8 ounce, Finesse Rugby jig, 1/8 ounce. And that's just a Zinkerz in the sprayed grass. And that has pulled in 3, or is that 4 now, of the biggest bass of the day. Just throwing it kind of along the banks and working it back out. Definitely, this will be the 3rd video I've been working on today in this tough conditions, and this one bait, I'm pretty sure if I would have thrown it earlier today, would have done even better. But that bait right there, and it's actually the 1/8 ounce. You can use the finesse gear, or the 1/8 ounce head with that Zinkerz is actually capable of almost all your bait casters can throw it, say medium action and down. Medium heavies might be a little tougher with bigger line, and definitely got to be careful on straightening the hooks, because the 16th and the 1/8 ounce still have that same roughly size hook, and it's not real, you know, it's not a super stout hook. But awesome. This is a perfect combo for it. That's the 802C with the BFS XG, so I can throw these bigger baits. I can get way down to light baits. That's, you guys have seen the videos. That's on the high end of things, about as high as you can go. That is the way to go if you want to go like that. But on the low end of things, you can also get, and the one I'll probably recommend is the, because you can get a clicker that comes factory, would be the Black Knight on a lightning rod. Basically capable of doing the same thing. Throwing lightweight finesse stuff, maybe not true BFS, and then being able to handle some big stuff too. Because you can put 15-pound braid, run 10, 12, 14-pound, you know, whatever max rating on your rods, what I'd recommend. This one says up to 14. This is a 15-pound braid, but I have to double check. I'm pretty sure that's a 10-pound leader. Oh, that was a fish the whole time. A little bitty guy coming at me. Wow, little dude. And you look at how little a bass that thing will catch. That bass is only a couple inches longer than that Zinkerz, if that. What I'm hoping is, you know, I'm gonna keep throwing this, because we are on it now. There we go. That's what I was hoping for. We got one, boys. We got a big one. There it is. And that's what I was hoping for. Look at that. Oh my God. That's a big bass. The drag is tight. Oh! That is a monster. Yes, yes, yes. Stay on. That's exactly what I was hoping for. Into this video, I'd find one that also caught the big one too. And it's kind of fine-tuning the baits. Look at that. Oh, stay hooked. it would have taken me a lot longer to get to this bait, but I rigged them all up on my rods to do like that, you know, kind of a shootout, trial and error. Look at that. Oh my God, that is perfect. You are perfect. I love you. Oh my goodness. Let's get this one in. Look at that beautiful fish. Do not come off. It's hooked kind of in the side, but hooked pretty good. Look at that. And with that beauty, boys and girls, let me give a big old woo! And wrap this video up. That is awesome. I'm gonna put it into this video. It's getting hot. I'm gonna fish a little longer, like always, if I catch any more. And I'm definitely gonna fish with this the rest of the time I'm here. If I catch any more, I'll tag them on the end of this video, but that's probably it. Okay, I've also realized I'm about out of footage. I was trying to put an end. I put an end to the video, I hope. I didn't erase that. I've been bad about erasing stuff today. But we caught that big one, and I'm just trying to get out of here. It's getting hot. And so instead of really hitting that dam, I hit the main part of the dam. I'm gonna try to work back up here where I'd already hit, in case I can get on another either decent or big fish. Because the wind was blowing harder a little earlier, and I could have swore I would have gotten more or better fish through this section. So I'm trying it with this bait that I know that's going to work, and I'm trying this. This is the only thing I'll try until I'm done fishing. I can feel it getting stuck on grass, little pops, little shaky shakes. There. Oh, there was a bump. That was something else. I'm leaving. I'm trying to get out here by 1 o'clock so I can be done and either in the shade or in AC by like 2:30. There we go. Oh, he's coming at me. I did not get a good hook set. I can't even tell how big he is. Oh, he's not big. That fish fired up and came hard straight at me. There we go. Get out of here.